Hello children, I'm very glad to be here and I'm very sure you'll also attend to me. Before I start, I want to send my greetings to you all as we have taken more time without seeing each other. I'm very sure you're fine and you're very safe at home. We are in this era of COVID-19 and to avoid everything that is connected to COVID-19, we have to make sure that we observe the soaps. Please, I don't mean the soap that you use for bathing at home. I mean the SOPs, the standard operating procedures. Those are the things that we have to follow in order to fight the COVID-19. So if we do all that is necessary, then we will be able to come back to school. Then we meet again. What are we supposed to do? Make sure that you wash your hands with clean water and soap as many times as possible. Please, if you want to move out or you want to share with any friend or parents at home because you don't know who is having it and who is not having it, please wear your mask. How do we do this? Please get hold of your mask, put the first loop this side, then cover the nose and the mouth, then you put another loop this side, making sure that your mouth and nose are covered because we don't want to the person you're talking to exchange saliva. That is how COVID spreads. Then, if you are not able to get water to wash your hands, please make sure you use a sanitizer. Please, if we do all those, if we stay at home without not moving outside to meet other people outside that we don't know, please, we will be able to meet again after fighting this deadly disease. So, here, I'm alone. I don't fear anyone that is going to spread any disease to me. That's why I've removed my mask so that we get to hear each other properly. Before we went for lockdown, under the subject science, we had covered the two topics, that is classification of animals, where we are supposed to look at invertebrates and vertebrates, and I think we did that. Then we again looked at sound energy. As you know, we are supposed to cover the 12 topics in P6. Please make sure that you follow these lessons so that you cover these lessons as we prepare to join other classes. So for today, we are beginning a very new topic, which is known as the circulatory system. The circulatory system. So what do you understand when we talk about circulatory system? Of course, being a new topic, there are so many things that we have to look at. Specifically, this is a topic that deals with the movement of blood along the body, the circulatory system, how blood circulates in the body. So, for this topic of ours, I want you to pay more attention. Please open your ears and be attentive. Take your time, you understand it, then we will be able to answer the questions that I will set. This system, I've said, it deals with the movement of blood along the body, and it is made up of three main parts. It is made up of the heart, two, it is made up of blood vessels, and thirdly, it is made up of blood itself. These are the three components of the circulatory system. You have to make sure that you understand these things and the way they move along the body. And you have to look at the function of each. Now, before we deal with all these, we have to tackle each at a time. So we have to deal with the heart first. When we were in the previous classes, P4, P3, we talk about the heart. And the main function of the heart is to pump the blood to all parts of the body. I think you all know that the main function of the heart is to pump blood to all parts of the body. But of course, as we were talking about it, we could not go into details at that level. So this is our time to talk about the heart, understand it, know how it works and its function, and of course, it will help us. Of course, I know most of you are going to be doctors, most of you are going to be patient attendants. So, of course, when we talk about the body parts, for you who want to be doctors, then it will be easier for you to understand these parts at your age, so that you grow knowing these parts as you keep on advancing, then things will be easier for you. Now, before going any further, we have to look at the heart. I've said its function is to pump the blood to all parts of the body. For this time, I want to show you how the heart looks. Then we shall talk about the parts, understand each part, and see the function of the parts of the heart. So, as you know, that whenever I'm conducting a lesson, it's better to have a notebook, or you get your exercise book, so that you keep noting some points. I don't want you to sit and keep watching as if you're watching just a movie, but this is time for learning. You have to learn. So whatever we talk about, get where to note, then you write, because at the end of it all, you have to copy the notes. Then we continue with our topic. But please make sure you have your notebook and you have your copying whatever I'm talking about. Now, let's look at the parts of the heart. This is the heart, the human heart, and we have to understand by the end of the lesson, please make sure you have picked something that is beneficial to you. Make sure you'll be able to answer the questions at the end of it all. I'm having these parts here. If you check properly, also I've seen that the circulatory system deals with the heart, it deals with about the blood vessels, and again, it deals with the blood. So we are dealing with the heart first. We have to know the function, the heart, know the parts and their functions. Let's first look at our blood vessels that are located on our heart. This is our human heart. So pay attention and understand these parts properly. I'm dealing with number one. This vessel, there is an arrow facing inside, and vessel number 1. I'm dealing with the vessels first. Let me talk about the vessels. Vessels of the heart. Here, I put numbers. We have number 1, we have number 2, number 3, and number 4. Where you're seeing these arrows. So meaning that the main vessels on the heart are 4. Whereby we have number 1 as the vena cava. We are on the vessels of the heart. We have our number 2 that has an arrow facing out. This one shows in, then this one is facing out. Our vessel number 2 is called pulmonary artery. It is called pulmonary artery. Then we have this vessel also that has an arrow showing out. It is our number 3, known as aorta. This vessel is known as aorta. Then we have vessel number 4, which has an arrow facing in the heart. Vessel number 4 is known as pulmonary vein. These are the 4 main vessels on the heart that we are seeing now. So, talking about these vessels, of course we have to look at the functions of each. Before we come to this, of course we have to first name the parts of the heart. Then after naming the parts, then we shall understand the functions. Now, we have got the heart here being divided. We divide it into 4 parts. Meaning that it is made up of the ventricles, this lower part. When I put my chalk here, I'm dividing it. Then we have this lower part, which takes the ventricles. Then we have this upper part, this side and this side, which takes the name of auricles or atria. So, when we look at these letters here, we have W, then we have X, then we have Y and Z. W representing the chamber. We have this chamber, we have the 4 chambers of the heart. Chambers of the heart. How many chambers? The heart has 4 chambers. The heart has 4 chambers. We shall write them according to how they are. On our, of course, when I stand like this is my right hand and this is my left hand. So that's how we read our structure here, the human heart. So this side is the left and the other side, this side is the right. So when I talk about W is on the right hand side. So W is representing the right chamber on the upper side, which is known as the right atrium. Atrium is singular. In plural, when you're talking about the 2 chambers up, we cannot say right and left atrium. No, we say right atrium or right and left atria. That plural is atria. We can write it in bracket here. Atria. That is the plural for atria. Then we come to this side of the left, which is marked X. This chamber is called left. Because it is on the left, it is called left atrium. And another name for atrium is auricle. We can call it atrium or auricle. But the plural, I said it is atrium. The plural of atrium is atria. Then another name for atrium is auricle. You can say the auricles, or you can say the atria. We come to the lower part of the heart. We have letter Y, which represents the right chamber on the lower side, which is known as right ventricle. It is called right ventricle. Then on our left side, where we have letter Z or letter Z, this chamber down on the left is known as left ventricle. So, when we are looking at these parts of the heart, of course we are naming them. We have started with the vessels of the heart, and the 4 main vessels are marked with numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 being vena cava, 2 being pulmonary artery, 3 being aorta, and 4 being pulmonary vein. When we come to the chambers, I've told you the heart is divided into 4 chambers. That is the right atrium. Then this side is the left. So we have the left atrium. And outside, another name for atrium is auricle. The plural form for atrium is atrium. Then we go to the lower part of the heart, where we have the ventricles. On my right, here, this side, this is our right ventricle, and this is the left ventricle. Which part is left? We have this part that separates the heart. Separating these chambers, the 2 chambers that are left, rather the right atrium and the right ventricle. We have this part that separates the heart, which is known as septum. It just divides the heart, septum. It is here. Then, on this, as we are coming to the functions of each part. Of course, each chamber, as we are seeing here, before we talk about the vessels, we have to connect all this in order to see how the heart works. That is what we are supposed to do. We have to understand how all these parts work in order to make the heart function. So, let's look at the vena cava first. That is our number 1. Vena cava. What is its function? How is it useful in the heart? Vena cava carries deoxygenated blood, vena cava carries deoxygenated blood from all parts of the body. What do we mean by deoxygenated blood? Of course, for blood, we know this is the liquid part of the body. Yes, we shall come to see how blood is formed, what is blood, we understand it more. But of course, we have to understand this word deoxygenated. We shall not say that this is the blood without oxygen. Yes, it has oxygen, but little oxygen. That's why we say deoxygenated. It has lost oxygen. So it has to come back to the heart in order for the heart to pump this blood to the lungs to be oxygenated. That's why it comes. So this vena cava is the main vein, because as we know that all veins, we have to understand, we shall come to that, we know that veins carry deoxygenated blood. So vena cava is one of the veins. So it carries deoxygenated blood from the body, then brings it to the heart. So that's why you see this arrow is focusing directly to the heart, meaning that this is the blood that comes to the heart. As you see this side, someone will ask, hey, why are they using the blue color to represent blood? No, we want to differentiate, to put a difference between these two types of blood. They are different. We shall look at why we are having this blood, because we don't have blood that is blue, but we are using the blue color to represent the blood that has lost oxygen. This is the blood that is not less useful to the body. It is no longer useful, though it is still needed in the body. That's why it is coming back to the heart, for the heart to pump this blood in order to do. So when you check here, you will see this small arrow here, showing that from the body. Who is from the body? This is blood from the body, entering the heart. Why is it entering the heart? As we said that the main function of the heart is to pump blood to all parts of the body. So when this blood comes back to the heart has to take that initiative of pumping it, because it will say, hey, you've come. What is it? Mr. Heart, I'm lacking oxygen. So what should we do? This, the ventricles down here, their work is to pump blood. Then the atria, these parts up, for them they receive. As they receive blood, they send it to the ventricles. Then ventricles will squeeze this blood and it comes out. That's why you're seeing this arrow curving, moving up here. And when this one also receives, the ventricle this side will also pump. As it pumps, it also passes this side. That's why we said it is a saturation. It is a saturation. Blood keeps on saturating in all parts. It does not stop. Does not feel I'm tired. Though some of us feel tired and say let us rest, but this blood cannot rest. The time it rests, that means you no longer have life. Even the heart itself cannot stop pumping. It can't. It can't stop pumping. It has to pump 24/7. That means all the time, so long as you still have life. Now, this blood has entered. It is lacking oxygen. It has to be forced by these ventricles by pumping it, squeezing it, to force it past here and go. What does this arrow show us? Here we have the word here, if you can read, that blood goes to the lungs. What is in the lungs? Oh, why does it go to the lungs? We have to see it. And which vessel is carrying this blood to? It is our vessel number 2, which is known as pulmonary artery. It is known as pulmonary artery. What is its function? It carries It carries deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. That's why we have here to the lungs, carrying deoxygenated blood from the heart. This is the blood that entered from the vena cava. Vena cava brought this deoxygenated blood, then it was received by the right atrium. Then the right atrium sends the blood to the right ventricle. Then the right ventricle will not allow this blood to rest. No, it has to pump this blood and it has to pass this side. But when you check very well, you will see these structures here. They look like knives. They are not knives, but they look, you see the way they are formed here. Meaning that there is time where they have to fix themselves and block the blood. Why are they here? And specifically to this part. Here we have these valves. These structures are known as valves. What is their function? Let's write here, valves. What is the main function of the valves? Valves stop the backflow They stop the backflow of blood. This is the blood that is moving to the lungs. So as this one squeezes the blood to move, there is a chance of this blood coming back. And when it comes back, it will stop this blood that is coming. Since we have said it is a saturation, then it has to continue. Blood keeps on moving. So in case this blood is to come back, then these valves will close. And they will stop the blood from going back. That's why we say valves stop the backflow of blood. That is why. Why do we say so? This is the blood that has low pressure. So it moves without a lot of pressure. So anytime it can, and that's why in most cases, these valves are found in veins which carry deoxygenated blood. We don't find them in arteries. We shall come to that. Now, let's look at this blood that has gone to the lungs. Why is it going there? Of course, we have to understand that blood goes, of course, we are still under pulmonary artery, which carries deoxygenated blood. We are still talking about the deoxygenated blood, the blood that lacks oxygen, that has less oxygen. And why is it being sent to the lungs? It is going there to pick oxygen. So here I may pose a question. Why does blood go, or why does blood go to the lungs? Or why is it pumped to the lungs? You have to understand that. Why is blood pumped to the lungs? So, the answer here, our answer is, blood goes to the lungs to pick oxygen. It goes to the lungs to pick oxygen. And of course, remember, as oxygen is used in the body, of course, during respiration, that is the burning of food by oxygen to produce energy, then water vapor and carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide has to be released and it has to be within this deoxygenated blood. That is carbon dioxide. So it has to be taken to the lungs, then it is dropped there, then blood picks, it has to pick oxygen, then it comes with it, and it then enters the heart. So, this gaseous exchange takes place as oxygen is picked from the lungs and this blood is dropping carbon dioxide. That is what we say, this is gaseous exchange. It has to exchange by removing carbon dioxide and getting oxygen. I hope you're getting it clear. So when this blood that we said is deoxygenated blood comes with carbon dioxide, it has to drop it in the lungs, then pick oxygen. So where does this gaseous exchange take place? Gaseous exchange gaseous exchange takes place in the air sacs, that is, which is also known as RV. Now, when it picks oxygen, it has to bring it back. Now, we shall jump number 3 and come to vessel number 4. This vessel number 4 will receive blood from the lungs. It is written here. It will receive oxygenated blood from the lungs. So we shall write here our vessel number 4, which is here as pulmonary vein, and write its function and say pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart. This blood has to come back to the heart. Remember, this blood is now oxygenated. It is carrying oxygen. This blood is very heavy. When you remember in P3 we talked about the percentages of gases in the atmosphere. We look at oxygen as occupying 21%, so it is heavier than carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide occupies 0.03%. So it is not heavy, but oxygen is heavy. And when you look at this part of this ventricle, which is the left ventricle, when you look at it, the muscles are thicker than this side. Why? It receives blood with great pressure. This blood is oxygenated. It has a lot of pressure. So it has these thick muscles to withstand the great pressure of this oxygenated blood. That's why the muscles of the left ventricle are thicker. Now, when it enters from here, this is oxygenated blood. That's why we designed it in a red color to show that this is the blood that is needed in the body. This one has this is the same blood. It went with carbon dioxide, went to the lungs, now it has entered. When it is oxygenated, now the heart will say, go, please. The body needs you. The body needs energy. So please go. Then it has to be pumped. The left ventricle has to pump this blood. Then it passes through this vessel, which is known as aorta. Now, what is the work of aorta? Aorta away from the heart. Where is it going? It is going to the body. It contains oxygen. This oxygen is needed in the body to burn food in order to produce energy. We need energy, whether we are sleeping, whether we are seated, whether we are digging, whether we are washing plates, we need this energy. So that's why oxygenated blood is needed. So when this oxygen is used, then carbon dioxide has to be released. And when it is released, the heart has to come back, rather the blood has to come back to the heart in order to be sent to the lungs to pick oxygen, then again saturates in the body. So with this, of course for today, we wanted to look at these parts. We have looked at the chambers, we have looked at the vessels of the heart. Now, the functions are there. Remember, we have to copy these notes. And after copying the notes, these notes will be guiding you to answer the questions. Let me hope you have been noting very well. So you will allow me, since you have already studied the parts of the heart, I'm going to remove this part, the structure of the heart. Then I put for you an activity that you will do. Then I will be able to receive your work on Friday for marking. Make sure you write very well. You underline your headings. Please make sure your handwriting is very good. Make your work very neat. We don't want to see work where letters are formed in any way. You remember how we taught you how to write very well. So, it is time for activity. Make sure you do this activity. After copying the notes, then you do the activity. Then I will receive the books, hoping that the work will be well written. Then we mark as we continue with our topic. So our activity, after copying the notes, is here. Make sure as you're writing the questions, you write the question, put the line where you put your answer, then after answering, you jump a line in order to create spaces for your work to look nice. So, these are our questions for today. Please do them. Then make sure you bring your work on Friday for marking, well written. I will be ready waiting for you. I want to say that enjoy your life at home. Please make sure you keep all the standard operating procedures of COVID-19, as we are still struggling to kick this COVID-19 out of our country, and we shall be able to do it when we all do what we are supposed to do. Please wear your mask, wash your hands, and use sanitizers in case you have them. Then we shall at least live longer. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.